The assignment was, can you write a story in just one sentence? St. Elizabeth's by Mike Rush. My wife, Cindy, parks the car on the little road behind the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, where we spent one night of our honeymoon so many years ago, and we get out to visit St. Elizabeth's, the quaint little church on our right, just down the hill from the hotel, when I notice a tall, distinguished man standing in front of a very long limousine with his hands folded in front of his pants zipper, waiting, and as we turn the corner to wind our way down the little lane alongside the church to the entry, I pass obvious members of a wedding party, slowly, one or two at a time, with their wedding clothes on and speaking in whispers, the way people do when they are involved in something quite privately intimate in plain view of the public, and round the hairpin turn, taking the 4 steps down to the ground level of the belfry entrance, which is the church's only real distinction, when it is obvious that family members, both old and young, of the bride and groom, are emerging from the large wooden double doors, and I take a seat on the crescent-shaped concrete bench because I know I'm coincidentally present in one of the most sacred moments in the lives of 2 families, and it would be more than awkward, worse than wrong, it would be immoral for me to cause myself to be noticed, and I'm instantly aware that the bride will come into view very soon, which will be sort of a holy moment for me, because it is her wedding day, and she'll be glowing because brides do that on their wedding day, and she will also be the most beautiful she has ever been up to that moment in her life, which is also the prerogative of brides, and just as the anticipation peaks in me, she finally steps through those doors in all her nuptial glory, with her unveiled face and white-laced body in full view, and the thing I immediately notice is that she is not radiant. In fact, her demeanor suggests irritation, although she has just made a vow of consecration to the man noticeably shorter than she, walking slightly behind her, in the presence of witnesses, that she will give him and he alone her body, her desire, her loyalty, and her fidelity until death causes them to part, so help her God. And as I'm processing my disappointment, I realize that she has paused, for there is something under her shoe, the hem of her wedding gown, which her brand-new husband haltingly attempts to correct, while she rebuffs his offer and in the process bends at the waist enough for her swooping neckline to gape in such a way as to reveal a healthy portion of wedding day bosom, and I quickly return my visual focus to the bottom of her shoe in honor of the fact that it isn't right to peek inside a vulnerable wedding gown, regardless of the bride's apparent disinterest in the groom, when at just that moment Cindy asks, "Are you ready to go inside?" And as my gaze falls upon her at this moment, on this very day, the 27th anniversary of our own wedding, I can't help but notice that in contrast to the ornately adorned youthful creature I've just beheld, Cindy's wedding day aura is slowly being leached away by the worry and wonder of raising 2 girls of her own, and the weight of marital sacrifice which has bound us together all these years, and I'm suddenly surprised by the most stark contrast that, amazingly, she still glows. Through it all, and in spite of much of it, she glows for me, radiant beyond measure, and clearing my throat, I utter, "Sure," with a renewed humility, a rekindled gratitude, and I take her hand while rising from the bench, pulling her so close her shampoo scent is in my nose, and with a glance over my shoulder at the back of a brand-new bride who, I realize, although just having stood where I stand, may never take a step in my shoes, I pass beside my resplendent bride through the thick wooden double doors of St. Elizabeth's.